Hey guys, GhazzyTV here with another build guide showcase. Today we're going to talk about a Golemancer build. So we're currently in a map with an aura bot. So I'm going to show you the next map being played without an aura bot, and then we're going to do Uber Elder on top of that, just to give you guys a rundown of it. A link in the description below for the POV as always. Now, there's a few issues with the way I designed it, which I'm going to talk about. I decided to go for an ice golem approach rather than flame golem. I would argue for ranged minions being better at clearing, because I found myself sometimes getting swarmed running specifically blight mechanics that we're in right now. So if you exclude that little issue that could happen, which actually just forces you to be a little bit more active as you're playing, the build's actually pretty nice, I'd say. Pretty nice. Either way. So the build is basically using that, and I actually lost the golem again. For those of you who might be wondering why I'm using a carrion golem, it's actually just for the primordial stacking of jewels. I'll talk about that when we get to the gear segment of this video. My problem with the melee minions, let's start with the problems of the build, is the fact that you have to wait for your minions to get to the enemies before they actually apply their damage, which is obviously a huge issue in terms of player speed efficiency. I can run faster than what my minions do, so that's why I'm not using an adrenaline flask or putting in effort to making myself faster. So despite having primordial chain giving them up to 100%, in this case 91% increased movement speed, it's not enough, because they have to reach them and then do the damage and then run to the next pack and do the damage, rinse repeat kind of process. Whereas ranged minions, just as soon as their enemies are within range, they just go crazy and they start hitting the enemies, and the entire screen's pretty much cleared. The other issue is what I've always been talking about on stream, is why I don't really like playing golem builds, and that's because I feel like the currency investment to get, tons and tons of jewels, anima stone, and all the other primordial stuffs to make this happen, the currency invested to that, a fraction of that will be enough to make either a zombie build or a spectre build, and as of the current patch, we're actually able to generate better clear speed and efficiency with a pack of zombies, which you couldn't do before this patch, than you can do with golems. So now there really isn't any reason to play a golem build, in my opinion, but there are people that really like this playstyle, even though it's very similar to a spectre build, or in this case being melee golems, very similar to that of a zombie build, for example. Either way, with that said, we're going to talk about this build now, for those of you who actually still want to play it. I'm putting it up a bit lazy by having Flesh Offering, Cast Damage Taken, Immortal Call, and Convocation on the same keys. I don't actually cast it. I put all my golems on my secondary action bar. The build is using Might Never Matter, as you've noticed, so I have about a little over 6,000 HP, or effective HP, which is why we have a Mana Flask in the build, and a Life Flask for instant heal. The Mana Flask is not instant, rather it is rolled with Enduring, which doesn't make it stop regenerating mana even if I have full mana, as you can see down here in the corner. And that's about it when it comes to that end. Other than that, the build's doing pretty well. Realistic numbers, I try to avoid inflating numbers. With Elemental Equilibrium up, it does about 705,000 Shaper DPS per golem. It will do almost nothing when you're in a situation where it does its projectile attack, but then again, it also does a Cyclone, which puts it up at 1.1 million. So I think it's fair to say that it will be around 600,000 to 700,000 Shaper DPS out of this build. PUB link is in the description below, as mentioned. So we're going to finish the Minotaur map. This is the Eradicator, one of the tougher Elder Guardians. We're going to do that solo without the aura bot, and you'll see how the build functions without any supports with it. And it's very straightforward. The biggest issue I had was, because it's melee, you could be overrun on blight mechanics, but the playstyle is pretty much the same as you saw in that map as well. You have to be a little bit active when you play the blight mechanics to make sure you don't die from collateral splash effects, and actually making sure you handle it, which I guess is more fun than the ordinary AFK builds, which is getting kind of boring to play these days. So I guess that's one of the pro sides of it. Cast Damage Flesh Offering, Cast Damage Taken for Convocation as well, makes it so that you kind of want to run into some packs just to get a hit, so that you, well, preferably not die. That's maybe not that smart. If you want to be effective with it, you kind of want to make sure that if you see like one enemy in the blight mechanic, like I saw there, you want to make sure that your character gets hit once to proc the convocation. Alright, so now we reach a point where the Blighted mechanic has been overrun. And this is the biggest issue with this build because it's using melee, so we're probably going to lose this one. But this is a good display of how this build has issues when it comes to those specific scenarios. The only way to actually counteract that is being active, but you want to make sure you get hit for the convocation. The other solution to it is obviously just self-cast the convocation. And if you want to do that, I got a little bit lazy, I guess, with it, which does provide a lot of issues when it comes to the Blight mechanic. So a solution to that is just self-cast convocation or just be a bit more careful than I was playing right there. So more to why we chose melee minions over something like Flame Golems, which would deal less damage but would be vastly superior when it comes to clearing, is bossing, which is why we're going to bring this into Uber Elder to show you how the build would deal with that. So I'm going to show you my first attempt on that in this video. So whilst we do that, we did some testing comparing Melee Splash versus Pulverize as a support gem for the sake of clearing for the Ice Golems, and we did determine that Melee Splash is vastly superior for the sake of clearing over Pulverize, about the same level of the support gem, and the Melee Splash just felt so much better to use. The other gems we're using is a haste, Wall Haste actually, we're not using the haste, together with War Banner and a Generosity. Since we can already outrun the damage of the clearing speed of our minions, we might as well just give Generosity on a Wall Haste to make them even faster. Doesn't make that much of a difference because they already have very high speed as it is, but it does help a little bit. Whilst you wait for this guy to spawn, the other 3 link is a Flame Dash, Face Run, increased duration to increase our speed. This is one of the reasons we can outrun our minions. We have a Lightning Golem, Curse on Hit, Punishment, and Stormbrand for the Elemental Equilibrium. I do have an Unset Ring for Portal, not really needed. Hatred in an Essence Worm to make sure that this reservation is only from the War Banner. I do have a Feeding Frenzy linked with Empower, Carrion Golem, and a Chaos Golem, and this is in a plus level Socket of Mini Gems. You can get even up to 3. The different enchants you can use could be Flesh Offering, War Banner, and the best one would be Ice Golem Damage for this specific scenario. But the War Banner enchant would actually only be like 1000 less damage per golem, so the War Banner is perfectly fine and it's most likely much cheaper as well. The links on the Ice Golem is Melee Splash, which I changed into Ruthless for boss killing, and then it's Melee Physical, Empower, increased critical strike damage since I'm providing them with charges to Dexterity, and then minion damage. The Gear Uniques is a Grip of the Council for % of their fist damage added as extra cold. We have Dexterity with Necro Ages to give them power and frenzy charges, which is why we're using crit damage. Primordial Chain for 3 extra golems. They get a little bit less damage and life, but you get 90 to, well, up to 100% movement speed. And I'm allocating Grave Pact on this. And then Essence Worm, as mentioned, as well as a Clay Shaper. The other items is just boots with life and movement speed and rest, belt with preferably Stygian Vice, so you can get a life, mana, and damage kind of jewel. Dexterity here and there to make sure you can actually make room for some of your dexterity gems, such as the Ball Haste. And that's about it. So we're going to kill this boss and show you the skill tree, and then we're going to do Uber Elder as well. So this is one of the tougher Elder Guardians, I'd say, from most builds perspective, I think. Then again, Elder Guardians hasn't really been problematic in a very long time now, since the insane buffs we've been receiving. So we're just going to let them kill it, which should go pretty fast. Support teams are not optimal in terms of levels at the moment. War Banner is pretty low, but for the most part, it should be more than fine. And of course, he's going to be a bitch and do this to us. Skill tree. Leveling this build, if you get Primordial Chain, yeah, you can level with it pretty early with the help of Primordial Chain. You can level with any minions, to be honest. It's pretty generic, the whole approach to it, in my opinion. Just keep track of which golems are dying, because if you summon the wrong one, you might sit at least 5 to 10 seconds resummoning the correct golem in order to not override the wrong one, which is really fucking annoying. So that was the so-called tougher Elder Guardian right there. So whilst you wait for this guy to fuck off, we can show you the tree. Basically, we want to save points because we want to have as many jewels as possible, which also puts up the budget on it. So we'll go out here, pick up Deep Wisdom, get the Heart and Soul, Lord of the Dead, Jewel slot into Golem Commander, because obvious reasons, and then get Cruel Preparation, and then skip Grave Intentions and move down for more jewels, Necromantic Ages for the shield, get more jewels, get some mana because of Mind Over Matter, Jewel, Resistance Jewel, Jewel, Life, Jewel, element equilibrium, jewel, life, might matter, jewel, life, and damage. So if you're leveling this build, I would recommend that you take the minion damage nodes out here, take the Cruel Preparation and Golem Commander potentially if you're using Primeval Chain. If you're not, skip this part of the tree, get these nodes and cross over here instead. Get the life nodes, and consider going through these nodes up here to Purity Flesh to get these nodes quickly, and then start following the tree. So you have to respec some of the nodes here if you're leveling with this build. That would be my recommendation. Bandits, kill them all. Pantheons, again, Pantheons is always a matter of personal taste. I like using solo Lunaris because you can avoid projectiles that are chained. This is obviously something Karvaruski's talked about as well. We had a discussion about it. I like this because I can roll chain rolled maps and not give a fuck. But that doesn't save you from being splashed to death from collateral splash effects like magma balls or fireballs, for example, which has actually killed this build earlier today on the stream twice. That 2 projectiles came flying and they exploded right next to me, and both of them did damage on me. This is something that the Solo Lunaris doesn't actually avoid or make you immune to. So there's still risk of dying to that. So it's not like a fail-safe to all projectiles, but generic chaining projectiles is avoided with this. And then I like using Silver Shikari upgraded for immunity to poison, and that's really it. But yeah, if you guys have any comments or any questions about the build, hit me up in the comments below. I'm going to show you our first attempt on Umbrella with this, which I hope shouldn't be a problem, since we do have the damage with the Ruthless Support Gem. And that's really it. So let's see how this build does versus Uber Elder. It shouldn't be a problem, so we'll have a look at it. I think we covered everything, right? Pretty sure. You can use Flame Golems if you want to, or you can just be a smarter human being and not do golem builds and do something more efficient like zombies or specters. Specters or Soul Rest. I have tons of these builds in my build list. Command link in the description below, and they're all, in my opinion, cheaper and vastly superior to this. But some people are crazy and actually want to play golems, so here you go. Alright, let's see how this feels. Our golems are immune to elemental damage. You don't have to give a fuck if they stand in the beam. He's dead. Kill this guy. He's dead. Ad's face coming up. Or he's gonna be a bitch. Nice. Thank you, you little piece of shit. Okay. You can use the Anime Guardian for this, actually. I didn't talk about that. If you want to, you can go with Anime Guardian. Let's see. I don't have Splash for this now, so it's only the Cyclone that's really splashing the trash here. But from the looks of it, that would be the only thing I was concerned about. But it's looking perfect, to be honest. I don't see this being a problem at all. Alright, so go kill this guy. Go kill the ad. Prioritize the ads. Anytime you play a build in this fight, you should always prioritize killing. Sorry, I got something in my throat there. Prioritize killing the ads. The ones that spawn staging grounds. And as you've seen, or might have noticed, I have lost one of my golems. So we're going to fix that, and it is the stone golem, since I don't feel comfortable just clicking a random minions. I'm actually going to check. It's Shift E. Okay, done. And that's it. I don't see this being a problem, since the build is designed for bossing in particular, since we're using melee minions. If I want a clearing, I would not use these. I would definitely go with something like fit spell. I would definitely go with ranged minions like flame golems instead. Should have flame dash the other way. Anyways, if you pay attention and not sit around and talk all the time, then it's not a problem. Last ad space. It's easy. Game's over. And this is the build. So like I said before, if you have any questions, fire them up. If you have a better design, please let me know. I would love to see some optimized versions of this, because I still want to be persuaded to enjoy golem builds, but I just can't see myself enjoying it. So I'm not sure what our next build will be. In the previous videos, we have been talking about which build we'll do next, and I don't actually have an idea, so we might actually see if we can design that and decide on that in tomorrow's stream. As always, hit the like button. I know if you didn't hit the like button, you just fucking hit it, okay? And then subscribe for more content. And what else do I usually say? Stay safe and keep rocking.